There's a quiet revolution happening right now. It's not happening out in the open, but on private servers and personal desktops. We're seeing this massive shift in how we handle our digital lives. What you could call a great disconnection from our total reliance on the public cloud. All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the big global problem that's forcing everyone's hand. Then, we'll dive into two really cool solutions, one being built by giant corporations and a parallel movement that's popping up in the home offices of individual creators. So, let's set the stage. The digital world that we all grew up in, the one that felt totally borderless and honestly pretty predictable, well, that's changing. It's quickly becoming this complicated maze of conflicting rules and regulations, and it's forcing everybody to completely rethink how they operate. And this quote from the legal eagles at Freshfields, it absolutely nails it. They call data law a global fault line. I mean, what a powerful image, right? It just perfectly captures the chaos and the sheer unpredictability that big organizations are dealing with every single day. And here are the specific pressures they're talking about. You've got different rule books for AI popping up all over the globe. There are brand new risks every single time data has to cross a border. And on top of all that, there's just this intense regulatory pressure hitting basically every industry you can think of. The old ways of doing things just aren't cutting it anymore. So, when you're faced with a world this fractured, what do? How are these huge organizations protecting their most important digital assets? Well, they're not just putting up bigger firewalls. They're building entire separate digital fortresses. The key to this whole strategy is something called an air-gapped cloud. And yeah, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's a powerful, private cloud environment that has absolutely no physical connection to the public internet. Think of it like a digital island, completely cut off from the rest of the world for maximum security. So here's how it works. First, the hardware is right there, on premises, in a secure room you control. Then, it's completely physically disconnected from the internet. Access is super tight, only through private, secure interfaces. And get this, even the updates and the maintenance are done completely offline. That air gap is serious business. It is never compromised. This whole idea of the air-gapped cloud, it actually points to something much bigger, a concept that's really at the heart of this entire shift we're seeing, and that idea is digital sovereignty. See, air-gapping is really the ultimate tool for achieving digital sovereignty. This isn't about just renting some space in somebody else's data center anymore. No, this is about owning and controlling every single layer of your digital world. You're not a tenant anymore. You are the owner. And according to HBE, this idea of sovereignty really stands on three pillars. First, data sovereignty. You control where your data lives and exactly who gets to see it. Then, operational sovereignty. You decide who runs the system and how it's run. And finally, technical sovereignty. You own the tech itself, so you're not dependent on some other company that could change the rules on you. So you might be wondering, how does this actually solve that huge regulatory puzzle we started with? Well, by taking full sovereign control, these organizations can finally navigate that complex legal mess with confidence. They can build their systems to be compliant from the ground up because they control all the pieces. Now here's what's so cool. This exact same shift, this move from renting to owning, it's not just for billion-dollar companies. A parallel revolution is happening right now on the desktops of individual creators, developers, and researchers. And if you look at the motivations, they're like a mirror image. A huge company wants to manage risk. An individual wants privacy. A corporation wants to protect critical data. A creator wants to build their own custom tools that they control completely. It is the exact same impulse, just playing out on a different scale. And the tools for this personal revolution? They are absolutely exploding. The open source community is just dropping these incredibly powerful AI models you can run on your own machine. We're talking everything from writing code to generating images to creating 3D assets, and you can do it all without ever having to send your private data to a cloud server. And listen to this quote from a user in the local LLM community. It just captures the feeling perfectly. This isn't just about privacy or saving a few bucks. It's about building personalized tools that feel like something straight out of science fiction. It's about building your very own JRVS. And you might think building your own JRVS costs a fortune, right? Well, get this. One user documented putting together a super capable local AI setup, a Mac Mini M4, for around $600. This power is becoming incredibly accessible. This is where things get really interesting. It lets you build what one developer calls a personal library expert moat. And here's the magic. Because the AI is running right there on your machine, you don't have to chop up your data into tiny pieces to send it to the cloud. You can feed a local AI your entire codebase, your entire archive of research, all at once. It gets the full context, making it way smarter and more useful for your specific needs than any general AI you can rent online. So what do you get when you put the corporate fortress and the creator's workshop side by side? You see the exact same pattern, the same fundamental shift in how we think about our digital lives. It all boils down to this shared philosophy. For years, we've basically been tenants in the cloud. We live by the provider's rules, we're subject to their costs, and we hope their security is good enough. The big shift is toward becoming a sovereign operator, taking full control over your own digital environment and really your own destiny. And really, it all leads to this one simple idea. The public cloud is becoming the place where we consume things, but the edge, those private clouds, our local machines, that's where the real creation and the real innovation is starting to happen. And that leaves us with one final thought. As these trends keep picking up speed and the tools to own your own digital space become easier to get, you have to ask yourself, in this new digital world, are you going to stay a tenant or are you ready to become an owner?